The House of Representatives Committee on Aids, Loans and Debt Manufacturing has grilled the Debt Management Office over rise in domestic debt amounting to 3.3 trillion naira in 2023. The Director General, Ms. Patience Oniha, and other officials of the agency were at the National Assembly for the agency's budget defense before the committee. The chairman of the committee, Honorable Ahmed Safana, and other committee members were surprised at the recent debt profile of the country during the budget defense. The lawmakers who rejected the continuous borrowing by the federal government bemoaned the huge increase in domestic and external debts from borrowed funds. They questioned the role of the Debt Management Office, who is entrusted with the role of ensuring frequency of repayment, as it demanded the list of privatized assets, payment vouchers, and debtors.
Give us details on what is called sinking fund, how it operates. 1. 2. Skook. What is Skook? How does it go? Because, at the end, we will need, maybe when you go back, you try to punish us with the list of those loans that are settled and those that are not settled within the previous approval we gave. Please.
In her response, the DGDMO said the domestic debt profile of the country stands at 3.685 trillion naira, and there is another 2.57 billion naira from external borrowing by governments. She said that the domestic debt profile of the country is rising from 3.2 trillion naira in 2022 to 3.3 trillion naira in 2023 due to high interest rate from borrowed funds and from domestic and international sources of funds.
Service is growing. So domestic debt for 2023 is about 3.3 trillion naira compared to 2.56 for 2022. So on all parameters except sinking fund, the debt service numbers are growing. Again, it's a function of the growing debt stock. The second thing to add is that interest rates are going up in the domestic market and international. So we also provided for rate increase in this projection. That's why it's much higher. So if you look at 2022, it was 3.98 trillion, but for 2023 it's 6.557 trillion naira. But that includes that unique line that I talked about, interest on ways and means advances of 1.2 trillion. It never used to feature, but it is now there, and we believe it is the proper thing to do. Since it's a loan and you are paying interest, disclose it separately. The other part of the question the letter we were asked to explain was, so for C3, I've explained with promissory notes. You asked us what the repayment strategy is for the loans. Technically, I believe it is common knowledge or public knowledge that we are low on revenues, but what we do as a country is we budget for debt service. So it's not when it arises, we start looking for money to pay for it. So how do we provide for it? We make sure it is there in the budget, and there's a seamless process for paying debt with debt service. We don't now start going to minister or something, because there are agreements and contracts and everything to guide the DMO.
She added that borrowing is a collective responsibility, and there is a need for the parliament to look at borrowing of funds by the government from a macroeconomic perspective. Annie T. Patrick, Core TV News, Abuja.